Business exists only to meet the needs of the people. But there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTime's DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Good day and welcome to today's edition of the show. It is Political Spectrum coming to you live from Uyo, the state's capital. I am yours sincerely, Onwese Ehinoma Olusegun. And as usual, we'll be touching on 2023, and it marks 59 days of President Bola Tinubu in office as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is an after reactions following the subsidy removal. Subsidy removal, civil society protests, pensioners demand their civil rights groups yesterday staged a protest against the hardship brought upon citizens following the removal of subsidies such as Mission Road, Akpakpava, Ring Road, among others, as they lamented how fuel subsidy policy and attendant rise in pump price of petrol to over 600 per litre has brought untold hardships on millions of Nigerians. Some of the placards brandished by the protesters read, "In less, not Nigerians. Cost of living in Nigeria is choking us. Federal government, allow the poor to breathe and keep your palliatives. Fix our refineries." Addressing newsmen, Edosco interim president Austin Enabulele faulted government for removing subsidy on petrol without first putting in place palliatives to cushion effect on the poor masses. Put palliatives in place. You must ensure that the refineries are working. Even if it is two, they should be working so that Nigerians can buy fuel in an affordable price in Nigeria. Enabulele queried the rationale behind the 8,000 naira proposed palliative for 12 million Nigerian families, members. And we have come to tell him that we don't need the 8,000 palliative. He should keep it to himself. It is another way of stealing Nigeria's money. How do you get the statistics of 12 million Nigerians that you want to pay 996 billion to as palliatives? Meanwhile, you want to spend 70 billion for the National House of Assembly. I want to let President Bola Tinubu know that we are not fools and that enough is enough, Enabulele said, has increased under the watch of our president. It is said we are where we are today. We cannot continue like this. Imagine lawmakers do not. Comrade Adams Oshomole has said Nigerians who voted for President Tinubu knew they were not electing a majority. This should be done. A high cost of living in Nigeria. Well, meanwhile, Kwara and Ogun governments approved 10,000. Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak has approved a multi-billion naira palliative cutting across different sectors and demographies of the state. Said on top of the palliatives is cash support of 10,000 naira for every public sector worker in the state, which will begin this month, July, and last until a new minimum wage is introduced to enable workers cope with the economic shocks created by the response to development. The governor has directed the leadership of the civil service to continue a staggered work schedule, not exceeding 3 days a week, to reduce transportation and 2020 promotion for teaching service commission workers. The administration had earlier cash-backed arrears of promotion for TESCOM for year 2015 to 2018. In the same vein, he has approved cash backing for 2021 promotion exercise of teaching and non-teaching staff of SUBEB, that's the State Universal Basic Education Board, and restoration of steps to all of them. This is a policy to the yearnings of SUBEB workers. It asks the federal government to include them in the planned palliative packages to cushion the effect of them. Chief Godwin Abumisi said retirees were among the worst hit by the economic hardship caused by the removal of the fuel subsidy. Government bureaucratic bottlenecks, it will go a long way to assuage such pains as well as calm down frayed nerves of the obvious angry Nigerians. He said in no more organized claims, incentives in form of free tickets with reserves. Pensioners did not fall from the sky. They are former workers who have has further impoverished and pauperized the vulnerable Nigerian pensioners. Now, it is on record that the poorest of the poor in Nigeria today are residents in our rural communities, where many families are not sure of his find pensioners, retirees who are struggling daily with poverty and hunger, alongside the rural populace due to low pensioners of their pensions. Abumisi demanded that the pensioners across board be considered liabilities to public and civil servants. Now, away from that, Niger Delta affairs, Umana has warned blackmailers to leave him alone. Mr. Umana, in a statement issued on Tuesday by his spokesperson, Iboro Otongaram, said, President Bola Tinubu's administration, I quote him, "My position is that blackmailers, those who fabricate stories and those who appointment of ministers, is the sole prerogative of the president." The statement quoted Mr. Umana as saying a fake letter by a faceless group which pretended as if it was working in Mr. Umana's favor regarding who should be appointed a minister was circulated on social media recently. And this happened despite Mr. Umana's disclaimer on the group and the content of the letter, which was addressed to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume. It should be noted that when a group publications have derived their justification, Umana saw through their ill intent and issued a prompt disclaimer. Umana stands by the letters and spirits of that disclaimer. Mr. Otongara felt that it was authored and pushed into the social media, apparently with the intention to attack Mr. Umana's credibility before President Tinubu and the APC national leadership because of the race for ministerial appointments. Apart from Mr. Umana, a former commissioner in the state, Victor Atai, are among those in the state reportedly interested in becoming Mr. Tinubu's ministers. President Tinubu has till Friday, 28 July, to constitute his cabinet going by the Nigerian constitution. Actives of the Department of State Services DSS on Tuesday rearrested Nigerian Correctional Services, that's the NCS. According to reports, the secret police took custody of Emefiele after a physical fight of the Federal High Court in Lagos admitted that the embattled and suspended Apex Bank chief to bail in the sum of 20 million naira. Now, officials of two federal agencies on Tuesday had engaged in fisticuffs over the custody of the suspended CBN governor. As a build-up, media sources earlier reported that the court rejected the government's claim that it had not received a copy of the bail application filed by Emefiele in his alleged gun possession trial. Shortly after the ruling, DSS operatives strategically positioned entrance in a manner suggesting that they wanted to take him back to their detention center. Now, this prompted Emefiele's lead counsel, Joseph Daudu, a senior advocate of Nigeria, and other lawyers to raise an alarm about their client's planned rearrest by the secret police. After the court session, armed operatives of the state security services and those of the Nigerian Correctional Services fought within the court premises with their hands over who will take custody of the suspended bank chief, while the prison officials argued that Mr. Emefiele should be in their custody pending when he meets his bail conditions. SSS officials said they had a separate court order to rearrest him whether or not he met his bail conditions. Recall that the DSS operatives had arrived earlier at the Federal High Court in Ikoyi, Lagos State around 9:20 a.m. on Tuesday. Sources had also reported that the Federal Capital Territory High Court sitting in Abuja ordered the release of the suspended CBN governor from detention and ordered DSS to charge him before a court of competent jurisdiction within 1 week. Reports had it that on July 14th, Justice Bello Kawu of the Federal Capital Territory High Court sitting in Abuja nullified the detention and interrogation of the embattled governor by the DSS. The violence between the two federal agencies happened about 3 hours away, but had ordered that Mr. Emefiele, pending the fulfillment of his bail conditions, be remanded in custody of the Correctional Service. Now we'll move to another major story which does not seem to be going away. NSAS, what Lagos government said about 103 recovered bodies versus what we may now know. Now recall that on Sunday, a leaked letter from the Lagos State Government Public Procurement Agency to the internet for several hours. The letter revealed that the state government engaged the services of Messrs. TOS Funeral Limited, a private firm, at the cost of 61,285,000 to bury 103 bodies tagged as NSAS victims. Now, many perceive that the bodies scheduled for mass burial were that of protesters killed by the Nigerian army at the Lekki toll gate on the 20th of October 2020 during the NSAS protest. It debunked what it described as misinformation to stir public disaffection against the Lagos state government. The letter showed that the state government had approved 103 bodies recovered across the state for mass burial, Lekki toll gate area of the state. Now, moving further with this story, the state government said it approved 103 unclaimed bodies for mass burial 3 years after the incident due to the need to decongest the morgue. Public adverts and announcements in national newspapers who had lost loved ones or whose relatives had been declared missing between 19th and 20th lawsuit to identify the bodies. Now, setting the record straight, recall that there had been controversies over the number of deaths recorded during the NSAS protest. Result and federal government have consistently denied any mass killings during the NSAS protest. Now, the memo is coming over reality and called for far-reaching reforms, particularly with the regard to the special anti-robbery squad SARS of the police. The weeks-long protest, which gained international attention, culminated in the controversial shooting of protesters at the popular Lekki toll. To the memo maintained that the victims to be buried were not from the Lekki toll gate shooting. The state government said that the 103 bodies were picked by the Lagos State Environmental Health Unit, that's the SEHMU, in the aftermath of Abulegba, Ikeja, Ojota, Ekoro, Ogba, Isolo, and Aja areas of Lagos State. Documents were from these incidents and not from Lekki toll gate, has been alleged for the avoidance of doubt. The chief pathologist of the state, John Obafunwa, was subpoenaed to testify and produce a record of any named citizen listed in the autopsy to the Lekki incident, Mr. Ogboye said. Now, here is what we may know. Witness Mr. Obafunwa testified that at least 99 people were killed in different parts of Lagos during the NSAS protest and had their bodies deposited at a morgue. The shooting of people killed and injured during the incident. Although the Nigerian army initially denied its soldiers shot at the unarmed protest, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu initially said no one died from the shooting, but later said only 2 persons died. The judicial panel, in its report, dismissed the government's claims and confirmed 9 protesters: Abuta Solomon, Jide Olalekan Ashafa, Olamilekan Ajasa, Kolade Salami, Folorun, and Ifeanyi Eji, Tola, and Wisdom as missing, presumed dead. It stated that 22 persons sustained gunshot injuries and 11 were assaulted by military officers with live ammunition to confront and disperse youths holding only to their national flags with live bullets. The report partly reads, the soldiers actually shot blank and live bullets directly and pointedly into the midst of the protesters at the Lekki toll gate with the deliberate intention to assault, maim, and kill the dead protesters. Finally, it has become quite obvious that the facts have been set from the different accounts of the mind-boggling event of October 2020. May the souls of the deceased rest in peace. All right, those are some of the reports we're going to be taking this morning. I have some very on Spectrum television. Join us again.
Share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the dependent murder of Hebrew?
He did not.
My lord, the matters council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. This case.
A program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTimes DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television.
D is premised on the quality of relationships forged by its inhabitants. The health of these relationships determines how well people, relationships, organizations 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. and on Sunday 2:30 to 3 p.m. on channel 421 on StarTimes to catch all the conversations, interviews, real stories on how to navigate relationships and family vision.
All right, welcome back, and many thanks for staying tuned. This is Political Spectrum. I'll introduce them. I have with me here physically Mr. Harry Udo. Mr. Harry Udo is chairman Akwa Ibom State Civil Society Organization. These days you'll be very busy, sir.
Yes, it goes with the time. We need to be about to ensure that we get a better country.
Very well.
So
virtually, standing by virtually is Mr. Victor Anilaju. Mr. Victor Anilaju is former presidential candidate and a founder of ePay, joining us from Lagos. Mr. Victor, how are you doing this morning? Good morning. Mr. Laju.
Thank you for having me.
All right, nice to have you.
Thank you.
All right, yes. I'll start with you, Mr. Harry.
Yep.
We have been killing them, and that the idea was to kill other things and not kill the citizens. You know, that has generated a lot of criticisms. It has generated a lot of blaming. Why didn't you plan this subsidy removal and put certain things in place, you know, before you went ahead to say subsidy is gone? Is there any hope in sight, generally speaking?
And we've lost it. There is hope, but whether this current administration would be the purveyor of that hope is another thing.
Okay.
All right. So there is hope. We are hoping that we'll get the right persons, because you see the arrogance with which this current federal government has come to governance is the reason why we are here. Everybody says subsidy is a scam, and so you come. The previous administration had made provisions to carry subsidy through the month of June.
Yeah.
And on the 29th of May, you just off the cuff, without even thinking, you said the increase in cost of petrol. And Nigeria runs on petrol. If your home, you run on petrol. The business, they run on petrol. The moving about, transportation to bring goods from the farms to announce that. It is that arrogance that is leading to this, and the fact that the one who is even saying, if you say subsidy is a scam, who are those that have been scamming us? Those who were involved, and then what it would take to, when you remove the subsidy, how it will impact the citizens. That wasn't done. It was after announcing fuel price increase. A lot of Nigerians driven into poverty. Already we had 133 going through multi-dimensional poverty. There is unverified stats that says within the first 1 month of this administration, 30 million Nigerians have slid in. If the courts were to, disqualify or cancel these elections and ask for more another election, hoping that now people who are prepared will emerge. That's one. On the one hand, we are hoping in square holes as ministers, they will come handle the situation, because as it is, it looks like a village square kind of decision-making process. In some villages, even the processes for taking decisions are even better than what is happening now. Or not be saying
all of it.
All of them. Wow. All of them has.
How about the
direct
student loan? How about the student loan?
Student loan is a sham. No student within the purview of that document that we've seen. No loan. And have you heard anybody going to apply for it so far?
Maybe they're still warming up.
Maybe they are warming up, but I'm telling you, nobody would apply, because those who should get it, they don't need it. So that's it. So all of the laws, the increase in taxation, even though the NAN came and said, okay, no, with tax policies, you give a 90-day moratorium period to enable. But you see, even that, those taxes would cause businesses to atrophy. All right, and you are imposing taxes. You're talking about going to matter
all sector
from the informal sector.
Yeah.
You now reduce the disposable income in the hands of the citizens. When you reduce disposable income, what happens is citizens begin to cut back on their expenditure.
Yeah.
They cut back on those expenditures. It goes around again and affects the businesses. Because when they reduce what they are buying, businesses produce, and they didn't think through the policies, and they are just going. It's become a vicious circle, and that's why the economy is atrophying. All right. By December policy. So the NSAS thing, the subsidy removal thing, where the CSOs demonstrating EDOSCO, no society is not just about the civil society organizations the sister network in Edo State, EDOSCO, but is all of the non-state actors suit from what the EDOSCO has done.
Exactly.
It's within our remit. Yeah, it's within our remit to make that protest. Exactly. To tell the people that it happened in the north. The problem with Nigerians is that we've become maybe we're becoming like the frog in the boiling water. It's just adjust
gradually.
Gradually
Until
adjust. And then before he knows it, it's dead. All right, and that's where I think Nigerians are right now with the express docility, because we'll find a way of adjusting. And where that happens, corruption is taking place. People are living beyond their income and finding ways and means to support their lifestyle. It will increase corruption. Those working in offices will find ways, of padding, their income. Those doing businesses will find ways of ensuring that they are able to stay in business by corrupt means. And so what this government that is already alleged to be a government of corrupt personalities is looking to exacerbate and perpetuate corruption, in the body politic and the economy of the country. And so what EDOSCO has done is a good thing, and I think that across the country, people should take cue. Because look, we're talking about if those who were earning 100,000 before today, I've suddenly found out that the 100,000 is not worth more than 10,000 naira, because prices of things have escalated. Our inflation rate has moved from 21, which was quite high, to 22 point something now within the course of 1 month because of some reckless actions of government. So these are the challenges that we have, and I think that what the EDOSCO has done is a signpost. If you don't do anything, before you know it, protests erupted in the north, and when it catches up in the north, then it's going to be worse. So those who are suffering, and everyone is suffering, like somebody said, anybody who is buying a full tank of fuel is a thief. Anybody who's buying, if you see somebody buying half tank of his car, maybe he's a business person. Any salaried person will be buying, at 5,000, 6,000, 3,000, because you need to man. Otherwise, you won't feed. You fuel the car and you won't feed. You fuel the generator and you won't feed. So that's the challenge that we have right now.
All right, thank you very much. That was well stated. Mr. Victor, still sticking to civil society, Mr. Harry has submitted that it was a nice move. We probably were wondering why it had to be those civil society organizations again. But then there's been criticisms again that people have agreed that the president has not come to do magic. Should have waited in size on the streets. What's your take?
Okay, that sounds like a failure. That sounds like a failure. It's only failures that that gives excuse. I've always said this: one of the biggest problem of the APC-led government is their inability to take responsibility of their actions. They keep looking for how to give excuses or put blames on people, on society, on importers of fuel, on NNPC, on smugglers. They just look for somebody or an organization to blame for their own shortcoming. And that is why I've always said is that APC cannot deliver help to Nigeria. Because one of the formula for you to solve a problem is to own the problem.
First,
take responsibility that this problem is coming from our strategy. You cannot come up with plans on how to solve the problem. Why our fuel prices are going up.
But every government defends its action, whether it's a populist. Limit it only to APC-led administration. It will not be too fair.
No, because we are talking about what is happening right now. We are talking about the fuel subsidy removal. Who removed it? Is the APC, supposedly, is the APC led administration. So who will I call now? Should I go and call PDP?
The
Or should I
APC
call
has
Labour
also
Party? Or
said,
should I call
the APC has
civil
also
society?
said, I mean, that is human enough. Probably that is where
That is an
the
excuse.
argument
That
stems
is
from.
an excuse.
That is where the argument stems from, that we should be a little patient with government.
No.
Hence the criticism of civil
No.
society.
No. No.
Okay.
No.
Differ.
No, sir. Nigeria was better off 2 months ago than now.
That's a fact.
Your policies, your decision should be able to make the society become much better. You are making it society worse, and you are telling us you didn't come to perform magic. That's why we are saying to you, you did not come into power to come and cause hardship on us. We are not asking you to do magic. You would have just left the country the way the country was 2 months ago. And would have just like, I don't know, is it 20 years backward? And you are telling us that you are not here. We didn't ask you to do magic, but we didn't ask you to bring in more pains, more suffering, more hardship on us. So, see, the APC-led government should understand that Nigerians are not fools. Nigerians are one of the smartest people on earth. Go anywhere you can see it. We know APC is a failure. Sir, I have friends. I'm a politician. I'm also a businessman. I have friends in APC. They listen to me every day. APC is led by people who don't know what to do. They are just desirous of eating Nigerian money. Even within APC party as we speak right now, I could tell you that 80% of their party members are not happy with the decisions that the executives are making. If they have their way, if not for say the people who had protests in Edo states are APC members. Go and check. You don't even know what is happening. Even in Lagos, very soon you are going to see a massive protest in Lagos. It will be led by APC. Embarrassment to us as Nigerians. You cannot, in one country, you increase fuel price. In one country, you increase price of food. You increase price of school fees. You are increasing. There is nobody that build a house before you lay a foundation. You lay a foundation, you create a system. You would have created the palliative before you remove the subsidy. You would have created a way of cushioning all of this situation before you go out to carry your plan. The first thing you just decided to do was to increase the price of fuel. Because to me, it's not removed that during the Buhari's regime, that there was a full subsidy removal. During Goodluck regime, there was a partial removal, right? So my question is that what is the APC-led government removing now? What they just did was to increase. If you don't know, let me educate you. 70% of the people who import our plants, the son, it works in Oando, and Oando is one of our major important crude oil of our petroleum product. Otedola is another major importer of our petroleum products. And these are people who work with Tinubu. They are friends of Tinubu, and one of them is the son of Tinubu. So this is just a way for them to make massive income. The price of your petroleum product is 80% is determined. We don't buy crude oil.
Okay, Mr.
In Nigeria, just wait. In Nigeria, we are close to the sea. We are close to the deep side of the ocean. So shipping will not be a major problem to us. So what are we not talking about? There are refineries that are working in Nigeria. Telling you that refineries are not working in Nigeria is a lie. There are refineries that work in Nigeria as we speak. So what is going on is just a scam. We are seeing that Emefiele is being arrested today. I shall know that very soon we will see the people behind this subsidy scam being arrested.
Okay, talking about Emefiele now, let me come back to the studio, Mr. Harry. The situation seems to be at the front burner now, especially after he has been granted bail, and there seems to be some tussle between the DSS and the Nigerian Correctional Service. Now, how do you see that tussle between the DSS and the Nigerian Correctional Service? to the now the DSS now has him back. They said they had a different order, of court as against the prison people. Yeah. How do you see that? Just give us an overview.
I've watched that clip over and over, it's such a shame to find that agencies of government would get into fisticuffs, in the full glare of the public. Journalists were there and all of that. It's so shameful to find that happening in today's Nigeria. When nations are talking about how to occupy the moon, how to go to Mars, and leveraging on IT and doing great and wonderful things within their nation. We are here having shambolic, governance and having agencies of government. It didn't start today. It's been on for quite a while, where they don't even trust themselves. I was once a rapporteur at a very high level, military, discourse, where they were discussing things, how to work within themselves. And they left that place without agreeing because they didn't trust themselves. The secret police didn't trust the army. The army didn't trust the police, and vice versa. And that was organized by an international agency trying to build that synergy. So part of the reason why you find a debacle in the Northeast is because of that absence of that collaboration. Would you find this kind of situation happening, for instance, in any developed country where the court has given an order, the DSS brought someone to court, and the court says, I was going to that. Shouldn't that? And it says the court actually ruled and said the custody should go to the and until he perfects his bail, custody should be with the correctional service. And then there's a flagrant disobedience, and nothing is going to happen. Nobody is going to face the brunt of the law for that. Absolutely nothing will happen. That's the nation where we have a nation where somebody was arrested on the grounds of corruption, conflict of interest issues, fraud, and all of that, and then he was charged to court for the possession of arms, firearms, and ammunition. Completely different from, not even the kind of firearms is not even the one that you can even, like the lawyer said, that is the type of arm that Mongo Park, and the Landa brothers used when they were coming to Africa. Many centuries ago. That's what is being charged for. Why the deceit? Why this opacity about the issues around the Emefiele? I am certain that if they arraign Emefiele on the grounds of issues of corruption and all of that, the major reasons why they arrested him in the first instance, a lot of names around this current government would throw up. And that's what I believe they do. But I think that the leadership of the DSS should be ashamed with what happened yesterday. No, but according to them, they are taking orders, in spite of the fact that that's why I say the leadership obviously that this current administration may also be towing the same line by flagrantly disobeying court orders. Governments in Nigeria over the years don't respect court order. The Emefiele that we are now speaking for, because our view is, look, no matter what offense you've committed, that human dignity should be preserved, and even the criminal has his basic rights. True. And so you need to ensure that he enjoys those basic rights until conviction. And if he's convicted, even within prison, the issue of the human dignity is there. So he has those fundamental rights that should be protected even in the prison. All right. Even if he's been sentenced to, given the what do they call it now? The highest level of punishment, which is death, for instance. Before he is killed, before he is taken to the electric chair or whatever, he still enjoys that certain rights until he gets to the chair. All right. So And that's what we are saying about Emefiele. But this same Emefiele, flouted court orders, just before this administration came in. So they've been doing, and this is something that leaders, those who are there now, need to know that power is transient. So whatever position you find yourself in leadership and in government is transient. And you must lay the foundation. You must treat others how you would like to be treated when you are no longer there. And this is where we are missing it. And so it is very sad to see the DSS do that. They rough handle that as gentleman of the correctional service, and they flouted court order directly. Right within the court premises, in total disrespect, to the court. And I think that the court should take action on this. They should make pronouncements. All right. And I'm wondering, I even in better climes, the head of the DSS should be resigning at this moment. Oh, yes.
I like the way you put that. All right, Victor Laju, still on the issue of Emefiele. I am sure, I already know what you are going to say. But let me ask you, will this administration be worse in obeying court orders? That is one. Then two, could it be that the presidency is not yet satisfied with dealing with Emefiele?
So I will say this. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he does not have any qualification to arrest Emefiele. There's no justifiable reason why Bola Ahmed Tinubu should arrest Emefiele. Emefiele is being arrested by Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Whatever you saw play out in court yesterday was an instruction given to those officers by their boss. And that instruction is an instruction that came from presidency. No officer will behave the way they behaved yesterday without an instruction from above. So I understand how DSS, EFCC, and all of this will how they operate. Once a higher officer gives an order, they carry out the order to the letter. Even if it takes them to violate the Constitution, they don't care, because they know that their boss will always defend them. But my only question is that I'm waiting to hear from the courts. The court is a place that's supposed to be sane. It's a place where you're supposed to see order and decorum. It's the highest place where we are supposed to see people obeying the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So I'm not waiting for DSS to take action. I'm waiting for the judiciary, the High Court, to take action against those officers or against DSS. DSS should be paying fine now for harassing a Nigerian citizen within the court. Obey. I'm not even saying they should obey the court. I'm saying the ABC-led government should obey the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Constitution of Nigeria is supreme. So what ABC is doing, they are not just against the court, they are against the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So I think right now it is only the legislator or the judiciary against the Constitution of Nigeria that whatever they are doing, I feel is the judiciary that have the power to remind APC-led government that whatever they are doing, they are fighting against the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Whenever you violate a court order, you are not just violating a court order, you are violating the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that is supreme. It is even higher than the presidency.
Okay, Mr. Victor.
So the continuous
Mr. Victor, we'll go on a short break.
The continuous violation.
We'll go on a short break.
Okay.
Thereafter, I'll be right back. Join us again.
presidential treatment.
Stop this thing you are doing. What's the problem now?
I'm talking about your rights. Yes, I'll still talk about my rights. When you kill, don't deny.
What is the problem? I don't understand. So they will not.
All right, welcome back, and many thanks for staying tuned. We've been discussing a lot of issues on the mainstream media, and you know, we don't seem to have exhausted these issues because there's been some kind of rippling effects, you know, over a lot of the issues that have developed. But we'll be moving straight. We'll be moving straight now into the 103 bodies. The leaked letter from the Lagos State government ordering a certain funeral outfit to bury massive about that development, because the government had said and maintained that those bodies were not particularly from the Lekki toll gate protests. So I'm going to come back to the live studio now with Mr. Harry. What do you make of this whole story and this seeming conundrum? There's been a panel of inquiry, and they've submitted their reports that quite very well a lot of people died. The government is saying that they did not, that nobody died from Lekki toll gate. What do you make of all this, sir?
It just shows the insincerity of government and the dishonesty amongst our leaders, because like what the colleague that is online is saying, leadership is about responsibility.
Yes, it is.
And it's about owning up to your mistakes. When you keep trying to put the monkey on the back of another, that is irresponsible of any leader. And that's what the Lagos State government is showing. I will remember, you know, all the talks. First of all, they said they didn't call the military until it was traced. Even the CNN came up, you know, to show how and when the military moved, and arrived, you know, and how they opened fire. Yeah, via satellite. Yes. They followed the movement.
It became undeniable at that point.
It became undeniable. Then the army came up and said, yes, okay, we were there. But we were there. Some of them were smuggled out of the country, had to run away because they were looking for them to hold, arrest them and all of that. Denial. And then suddenly, we now know that there are 103 people that died.
If the letter hadn't leaked, really, what would have happened?
They would have just gone ahead and done that, you know, with the same opacity that goes with everything that is government in this country. All right. So that leak just shows how, I mean, like I keep saying, adjust, to that. I said, oh, that's so terrible. I never thought I could see anything as worse as this. Well, Nigeria happens, and those who lost their loved ones should come out, because you're spending over 598,000 naira to bury one corpse that you first denied that nobody died.
Nobody died.
And you put the families of those people in. So that's the thing to do, to say, hey, families, you come out and identify your people. Let's compensate you. You know, you didn't do that. The story is, I said, go to the surgeon.
Defending the state government had said that June 19th or thereabouts, they published on national dailies that people should come and claim their respective, come and identify the body. How do they now want the families to now know that, okay, these bodies may
just want to go and bury them quietly? If that letter didn't leak, we wouldn't know this.
We wouldn't have known.
You know, so it's the dishonesty, and I think that the Lagos State governor should be held to account. Thankfully, I think a court has stopped the process from going on. We need to and bury their corpses so that they can have closure. Not you taking people's children and can do that. But whereas the families are there, still looking for their loved one, give them a chance, apologize to the nation, and then pay adequate compensation. If we didn't, 98,000 naira, you know, per corpse. Who does that? Of the antecedent transactional and corrupt practices that have run through, and that's what is reflecting, you know, in the Lagos administration right now, where, you know, for each of the individuals, because there are people who bury their loved ones and who spend up to 598,000 naira to bury their corpse, and you want to bury just a mass grave, mass burial, you know, and you're spit from the pain and penury, the misery that you inflicted on Nigerians. You want to profit, not just wait for civil society organizations. Citizens are civic actors themselves.
Already, yes.
Already. So we need to begin to speak. All right. It's within the remit of citizens to march to government houses and go. They will huff and puff for a while and then they will calm down. That's the reason we are having this impunity going on, because truly, if they were
all right
now,
all right, Mr. Victor Laju, are you still with us? Okay. Same question is thrown to you. Government consistently denied. At the same government wants to secretly go and bury these bodies after denying the families the right to even come and, there is still some kind of denial that of all the bodies.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yes, okay. We are discussing the 103 bodies, the letter that was leaked, bodies alleged to be the NSAS protesters, the remains and the bodies. I said, what do you make of the whole story?
Because I was there on that day when this whole thing happened. First thing that day, they removed the CCTV cameras, because that protest was at the Lekki toll gates and there were CCTV cameras. They removed it. They turned off the light. Lagos State government, not the Nigerian army. So the Lagos State government were aware that the Nigerian army, they were coming there, because you cannot say it's come during the day. They came at night. That protest was, there for like 7 days, day and night. So my question is that why did you come at night? Why did you remove the CCTV camera? Why did you talk? Your mission there was to tell them, can you leave that place? So they did those three things because that will benefit both the army, both the Lagos State governor, both the Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Bola benefit from it. So if it will be a man or a woman with that conscience to come out and deny what happened, the APC-led government does not have human empathy. They lack, that's why I said, they lack the courage to own up to responsibility. And any man or woman If you people have agreed from saying there was nobody killed, you are now agreed that there are 9 people who are killed. Why don't you just agree? God, it was not the governor that led the thing. Paying with APC. Anything, if you are giving an offer, okay, let's not say in that day in Lagos, there are over 2,000 people that dies in Lagos every day. So we should just say all the cops in Lagos. Why are they not doing? And even these 103 persons are not just from the Lekki toll gate. Whether anywhere they are from, they're human beings. The people behind that killing should really, wherever it happened, the people behind the killings on that day should be held accountable. But you to go and kill unarmed citizens, these are Nigerians, these are not Cameroonians, these are Nigerians who are asking for not something that will benefit just them, something that will make Nigeria to become a better country, everybody. But you can never hide this from God. You will be here, we will come back here, I will tell you. The people behind these killings, they will never go unpunished. The secret that they know will come out to the public space. But I want to say this, let us not be carried away. That the APC-led government is trying to instigate a protest in this country. That's what I see here, because every direction that they are going is to make Nigerians to become angry and let there be these protests for reasons I don't know. Whether they are trying to use that to stop the event I've been making, is to cause chaos in the country, is to cause mayhem, is to cause confusion, is to put the Nigerian tribunal will now be suspended till there is calm in the country. That's what is going on. Forget about this news. They know the dead bodies are still in the military hospital. And they know that they cannot go and throw those dead bodies away. They know the families of those persons already know where their children are being dumped. So what we see in this circular that is coming out is just a way to distract us from the main thing. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not our president. He should go to the court and defend his
but the case is still in court. Mr. Victor, the case is still in court.
Why are you instigating violence? Why are you instigating protests in the country? At least you are not only, I've stayed over 40 years in this country, so I can tell where the sign is going to.
Okay.
There is a violence that they want to happen in this country.
As we start to wrap up now, let me come back to the live studio. Mr. Harry,
yes.
This whole thing, like I said, it can never be over brief comments. Do you think these lessons we've learned will deter the youths from protesting the next time in Nigeria? Because yet again, you find out that even actions, inactions, decisions of government are still in such a way that it can cause a protest.
Yeah, but you see, the youth are, and so that's where the focus is. If the current government is looking for a protest, they will get it if the judges of the presidential election petition court, if they adjudicate against justice, and that protest is going to be spontaneous. Well, because I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a judge, but as a consummate policy analyst, following the matters at the court, we'll see that it seems to be that there is overwhelming evidence, especially on the part of INEC not following their own election guidelines that they put, and that the chairman of INEC himself, said to Nigerians in a broadcast, and then went to the UK, to Chatham, and gave that assurances. I mean, these are things he said, so when people come after consistently, and that has been presented to the court, and I don't think that, so I believe, I'm hoping, that the judges would do the right thing, would err on the side of justice if ever they are going to err, but they should adjudicate and ensure that there is justice. There's been, as we gather, attempts to intimidate them and to blackmail them. I think that if I were them, I'll just do what is right and then be ready to face the consequences, because it will just be a matter of the citizens, the youths, the young ones who protested NSAS during and called for the end of SARS. They are still available. Yes. Many of them didn't die. Just a few died. A few hundred.
There are rumors that some of them transformed to the obedience.
That talk is there because you see, look, who are the most shortchanged? It's the youths.
It's the youths.
Nigeria has of Nigerians are youths, and they are who's been in power all these years. They've been the grandfathers, like the Tinubus that have been there almost forever,
decades,
and no opportunity. The youths that have gotten into government, are the youths that you would say that those youths they are not the real youths, for instance, because you see they get into, and that's a youth, all right. So you have some of those here and there, but the thing is that the real youths are waiting, and they voted. They kept. I went to the INEC office even in this state during that time. And I saw massive young people coming out to register to vote. And the turnout for the presidential election was massive. Yes, and we got footage from everywhere, even though after they saw what happened, that people didn't come out. So the youths are focused, they are waiting. I don't think that what happened at the toll gate, Lekki toll gate, is going to be a deterrent to the youth. I'm thinking that they are conserving energy. And so if, like Victor said, that this government is looking for a way to for how to cause a disruption, they will get it more than they imagine. Ask for a rerun, where the election is conducted, freely.
But as a digression, there are rumors that some parties are already preparing for a rerun.
Look, let me tell you, the presidency are preparing for a rerun. When you see the Asari Dokubo stuff and all those things happening, that's the rerun they're preparing for. They're prepared, the appointments and the things they've done, the reaching out and all of that, the floating of certain names that are going to be appointed, the delay in announcing the list, all of that is the negotiation. Look, the president, so he's there, all right? And I think that's what the INEC chairman looked at to announce without waiting for the results to be fully collated. All right, so that has been done. We think he's there in the interim. Some people call him a placeholder. They annul the election, and then these people can be able to stand by him and ensure that he returns. But we'll see about that. Let the elections be annulled first, and then let the courts decide, and we'll see how we go from there. I think that the youths aren't deterred by what happened at NSAS. I think that they are building up, and what's going to happen, that revolution will come, and it's coming without guns, and without much violence. But that revolution will come. And
all right, thank you very much, Mr. Hayudo. It's really a pleasure having the discussion with you. Thank you. Thank you also for always enthusiastic enough to share from your wealth of knowledge and understanding about the situation of things. Thank you so much. I think at this point we'll have to draw the curtains.
Let me just say this.
Okay, I can afford you just 5 seconds because we're really out of time.
Just 5 seconds. The Nigerian youth are not asking for a rerun. We are asking for Peter Obi to be sworn in as the president of Nigeria.
All right. Thank you very much.
Not going to be a
Thank you very much. The case is still in court. And very soon, the courts will decide on a date for judgment. But thank you very much for being a part of this show. It's been a lovely time with Mr. Victor Anilaju and Mr. Harry Udo. Until the next edition, have a great day.